Good evening, friends, and welcome to Heart of Indie Radio. We're excited because we have an exclusive interview with Andrew Slater tonight on the show. He's here in our virtual Heart of Indie Radio studio, and a super talented singer-songwriter, has a gorgeous heart. He's always so lovely on social media. You're going to love this guy. Please welcome Andrew Slater right here on Heart of Indie Radio. How are you?
Doing good, very good. Enjoying the fall
Awesome.
weather up here in Pennsylvania. So yeah, it's nice. We've got the long sleeves out now. So
Yeah. I love it. Well, I really want our listeners to get a chance to understand your journey as a singer-songwriter and a performer. So, can you just tell us your journey and, if there's some highlights or funny stories along the way, tell us those too.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, I think my life in music kind of is a little bit summer of '69 ish. I got my first guitar. I was actually in a band. The moment I got my first guitar with some friends from high school and did the whole play until your fingers bleed sort of thing. That was a real deal there. And music for me was always a love, even from my youngest years. Um, Church music. I grew up Catholic. Hearing the hymns in Catholic service, I loved going through catechism as a young boy. I loved the music there. Then I loved getting into my brother's CDs and then listening to my parents' oldies, if you will, and getting into the Beatles and all sorts of different music. But yeah, once I got that guitar and was off and running with my friends, it was just a couple years later. We played a lot of covers for a few years. We could have been really like a Blink 182 cover band. We basically knew like their whole catalog, and System of a Down, which is completely different, like super hard metal. So like we played everything. But then I started writing. I want to say I was about age 15 was when I really started writing, and that for me helped me to like make sense of the world, where there's injustice. To write songs about that. If something had me feeling down, if something had me feeling depressed, or love. Writing about love. That's another subject I really enjoy writing about. So I started there, and then through the years, I just really kind of never stopped. I did music in the church world for a while, and about 10 years, I did like music ministry. Um, Played a few originals there, but most of the music I write more or less has to do with just life. I have a lens that I view life through. I am a person of faith. I kind of don't shy away from talking about that in my music, but I love writing about just going through life, going through depression, trauma. I've had some trauma in my life earlier, and kind of in between that, first becoming a songwriter and playing in a band, to like through all these years now, and dealing with that and processing that is kind of been a big focus of mine. Plus, I just really love storytelling. So it could be just history. It could be people you meet. It could be, like I mentioned earlier, injustice that you see in the world that you want to talk about, and it brings about that human connection that kind of goes um, beyond just surface level, and it just helps people along in this journey. It helps you along as well, because I find as a songwriter, it kind of like helps me feel better. I know I've heard other artists and songwriters talk about if they're feeling down, they just have to go grab that guitar, go sit down at the piano, they get it all out, and then it's like, oh man. But then like sometimes those songs, when you get it all out, then you're like, hey, you know what? I think this could help somebody else along, and then that's that deeper human connection. So yeah, I've really like love it. I can't stop. There's no way I could, because it's like ingrained into you as a person. And so, I mentioned earlier how I was doing music in church for a while. Um, so over the past year and a half to 2 years, I've really kind of more or less made the focus more songwriting and, living as an independent artist, and just growing that. So that's been more of a focus. So I kind of like stepped away from that world a little bit, to where there's a lot of time. I don't know if worship leaders and stuff like that. Like it's, it's something that I love, but it's also something that I feel like my wheelhouse is more so, being an independent artist and a singer-songwriter. So that's kind of the space that I've been living in, and kind of growing accustomed to, because it's, in some ways, it's kind of like a new world. Like, I've kind of been out of that world for a little while, just kind of doing music primarily in church, to where it's like now, and then plus you have the coronavirus, right? So things are like, nothing is like it was. So it's like, oh, here I am, like, feel like I'm following, the path for my life. And then it's like, whoa, and then this happens. And so everything's like completely different, virtual world, everything like that. I pay attention to the news. I know in New Zealand, there's a little difference versus in America right now. But yeah, things have been starting to open up, and just kind of getting out there, just the joy of like playing music live um, is just so wonderful. Like when you play a song and it touches somebody, and you talk to people afterwards after you've performed, and they're just blessed by your gift. That's really awesome, and that's my favorite thing about it, and why I just keep going back to it.
That's awesome. And I think that there's something really special about the fact that you acknowledge in your own life that you have had difficulties and tragedies, and that throughout that you've had your faith and you've had your music, and how that connection of the powerful healing of music, or the healing power of music, I think is something that we can all agree to, especially during these times. I'd love to know how we can follow you on social media, follow your journey, because you are someone that, not only are you a talented, singer-songwriter, but you also have such a passion for helping other people, and it does come through kind of this gentle spirit online. So I think a lot of people will be blessed by getting a chance to follow you. So if you could just let us know where we can follow you on social media and also purchase your music, I would love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Instagram is probably where I live most. And that's my ad is Andrew Slater Music. Also, I have a website, andrewslatermusic.com. You can buy music there. We're going to start adding merch and stuff too. The only thing that you can buy merch wise really is physical CDs of the first album I released about 2 years ago, Sunny Morning. And then I'm on Twitter at, I couldn't use Andrew Slater Music because there are a few other Andrew Slaters out there. There's an opera singer, Andrew Slater. So on Twitter, I'm at A Slater Music, and then I'm also on Facebook as well. I do have a Bandcamp too, so if you search for Andrew Slater on Bandcamp, you'll find me. It's a nice picture of me. I think I have the same API across all those social platforms. But yeah, mainly Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, you can find me there. But I'm also posting on the other places too. So I live everywhere.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, I'm really excited about what the rest of 2021 will bring, and of course 2022. And I want to encourage you to continue shining your light for others. And we will, of course, be cheering you on from the sidelines and saying, we had Andrew on our show once. So anyway, have a great evening. We're going to be playing your music a little bit later tonight, but thanks everyone. You can always DM us on Twitter and on Instagram at Heart of Indie. Let us know what you thought of tonight's interview with Andrew Slater, and be sure to show him your support. Lots of love and light. Thanks so much, Andrew. All right, folks, we're going to get back to the music right here on Heart of Indie Radio.